Hello, welcome back to Dad Puzzles podcast, where we explore the intersection of wellness, parenting, and professional life. So today we do have a special guest that is transforming the way healthcare specialists, all these professionals in healthcare, or any person that is having a high stress work background. He's helping all those folks to approach their health and the fitness. So, Mr. David Quintero, thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for this conversation. Let's dive deep into it and I can't wait.
Amazing, amazing. So what led you to your journey, my friend? What's your journey and background a little bit for folks that do not know you?
So I grew up with a sports background. When I was a kid, I grew up playing sports. I played basketball, baseball, football, a little bit of volleyball. So that was me growing up from the time I was 4 years old to the time I graduated high school. And after graduating high school, I needed some sort of competition, something to just be able to strive, to be the best that I can be. And
Hmm.
I fell into fitness. I fell into fitness at the time. And then at the time that I was getting into it, I actually started coaching high school basketball. So I was working with, I was the head coach of the freshman basketball team, assistant coach of the varsity team. And at that time, I was getting into my own health and fitness journey. And it was one of the things that I noticed a huge difference when I started taking care of myself. Growing up, we ate whatever we wanted. We didn't
Hmm.
prioritize sleep. We were just kind of woke up and just went to go play basketball. Of course, when you're, a teenager, you don't have to
Hmm.
worry about those things. But when I started realizing the big difference from it, I wanted to be able to pass that along. I also had a mentor who I trained with when I was playing high school basketball, that he worked with professional athletes, and I had the privilege to be able to work with professional NBA players and train with them. So I felt like it was just, if I would have had that knowledge when I was 14 years old, I
Hmm.
it would have made a big difference in my career, in just my basketball career, how well I would have done. So I
Right.
felt like it was my obligation to be able to give back to the younger generation, and I started coaching high school basketball.
Hmm.
And with that, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the coaching aspect of it, being able to teach these young kids certain ways to look at the game, certain ways of how to take care of their body.
Right.
And it was something that I really started to fall in love with. But
Hmm.
in coaching, it's really hard to make a career out of it unless you are working at a really, high level school, and
Hmm.
being able to work your way up through there. And
Right.
so at the time, I had my mentor. So I was like, you know what? He gets to work with professional athletes. If I get really good at being a coach slash trainer, I
Hmm.
could possibly do that as well. So it all just kind of worked together at once, that I was getting into health and fitness myself. I was
Hmm.
coaching. I was going to school, getting my degree. I switched my degree over to kinesiology with an emphasis in exercise science, and it all
Right.
kind of just meshed together to where I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a coach in some way, shape, or form, being able to help others be able to exceed, be able to exceed their expectations, be able to
Hmm.
have success in just taking care of themselves. So I went through that entire process. I got my personal training certification. I got done with school. I got my bachelor's degree. And then I went out into the real world. And as soon as I got done with that, my mentor what basically called me, and he was like, "Hey, meet me at UCLA at 9 a.m. tomorrow." And I was like,
Hmm.
"Okay, UCLA, what are we doing over there?" So I
Right.
get over there, and there's about 10 the NBA players in there. So him and I get to work together with these pro athletes. And then as soon as we're done, he was like, "Okay, how was it?" I was like, "This was great. Thank you for the experience." He's like, "Okay, well, I'm full. These guys are yours. I trust you with what you're doing. Like I got thrown into the fire early. Like I started working with professional NBA players right off the bat at 19 years old.
All right.
So, I had to really learn how to get people to understand what it is that I'm talking about, being able to get them to see the big picture and taking care of themselves. So that was
Hmm.
kind of where everything started. I started working with professional athletes for about 4 years, but then after that, I wanted something bigger. I wanted to be able to help others. I started to see that there was this trend that the world was getting busier and people were getting unhealthier. So
Hmm.
I switched over into working with general population, and I worked with general population for about 11 years. I've had some
Hmm.
amazing transformations, have helped people overcome high blood pressure, have helped people overcome being diabetic,
Hmm.
getting in the best shape of their lives, but not
Right.
just from a physical aspect, their lives transformed as well. Their
Right.
relationships improved. They improved in their career. It was just a total
The
mind body
mental. Yeah.
transformation.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. And so I just, as time went on, I just started falling more and more in love with it. And up until COVID, I was working with general population. And after that, I had one of my old clients reach out to me who was a physician and was reaching out, just had her second kid, was dealing with postpartum depression. I used to work with her about 3 years before that, and she was just very lively. And when we had our initial phone call, she was just, you can see she was very tired, she was very drained. And so that was my first physician that I ended up working with. And we had an amazing transformation. And through that transformation that we had, she started referring her other physicians, her other friends, and so really a business bloomed through COVID. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there was more people that they couldn't go to the gym. Their careers were getting busier and busier, and the stress levels were through the roof because of just, you know, the hospitals being so imploded, so many people coming in and out of the hospital and not knowing what COVID what really was at the beginning. And
Mm-hmm.
so what started off with one physician turned into 20 plus physicians that I started working with. And it worked out perfectly because then I was able to switch everything to virtual. And now I'm able to work with physicians in New York, in Chicago. I have some in Seattle. Most of them are in California, and really been able to turn this into a whole mind body approach of really trying to push health and longevity, not just for themselves, but for their
Right.
families and for their career as well.
Amazing. So what are the most the most common challenges that they're facing? Like so far, you know, in maintaining their health and well-being so far. Like when they're trying to work with you, what are the challenges that they're mentioning? Besides the time and stuff.
Biggest one is what you just mentioned, the time.
Mm-hmm.
They a lot every physician that I've worked with wants to be healthy. They want to take
Right.
care of themselves. They understand the importance of their health and not only the way that it benefits their personal lives, but it affects their family and affects their career. And
Right.
it's the time,
Right.
being able to adjust their schedule accordingly to be able to
Mm-hmm.
fit these big priorities into their life and being able to make it a non-negotiable. There's every consult call that I do with my physicians. It's literally they start off, I know what to do, but I'm just not making the time to do it.
Right.
So, that's really the biggest obstacle. And a lot of times too, with even like with physicians, because they're who you look to
Mm-hmm.
for health advice to be healthy. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that can be a double-edged sword because sometimes you get a little too smart for your own good and you start
Mm-hmm.
overcomplicating the process. So there's a lot of times when I get on the initial consult call with my physicians, they're getting into things, fasting, biohacking,
Mm-hmm.
getting this or that. But then
Mm-hmm.
that leads to stagnation because there's
Yeah.
so many things that they know that they can do and that maybe would be beneficial that they're
Mm-hmm.
not even accomplishing the lowest hanging fruit and taking
Mm-hmm.
care of their fundamentals and their basics. And so they
Right.
just end up not taking care of themselves.
Wow, this is true, and I like this. The mnemonic kiss. How like one of my prior guests has mentioned, and before that, I really that has been my thing to keep things simple. So this is
Yes.
a this is a good push for sure.
Yes, and simplicity is really the biggest thing. When I start with my clients, I let them know from the very beginning. I say, look, the program that we're going to put you on is very simple. You need to be able to accomplish the simple things first.
Hmm.
Speaking on, I have Kobe back here. He has a great quote that says, he literally says, do the simple stuff right. And
Right.
once you get that down, then you can get into all the fun stuff, the biohacking, looking into
Hmm.
the aura ring to check your
Hmm.
sleep. But it's like
Right.
if you're not even able to get yourself to go to bed at a decent time when
Hmm.
you have the opportunity to do so, the aura ring is going to do you no help. Or
Absolutely.
if you're inconsistent with your exercise and
Right.
you want to be able to drop body fat, the cold plunge isn't gonna help. Take care of the lowest hanging fruit first before
Right.
you start figuring out how to climb all the way up the tree and get the fruit from the very top.
Oh, this is amazing. So what like what do you help how do you help those guys to integrate the fitness and wellness into their busy schedule? Because, like you mentioned, folks are very busy and stuff. So, well, like what are the same, the tricks that that you're using with them?
Yeah. So it's really the biggest thing is a lot of communication. I am
Mm-hmm.
communicating with my clients almost every minute of the day, just to start getting a feel for what their day looks like. And then we start going through, we start going through their schedule, start being able to start to see things of where can we implement our workouts or our meals, or what are some easy strategies that we see. So one of the biggest things, like I tell my clients, put your meals in your calendar. You may not be able to eat at those right times, but we're always checking our calendar. So when you go and you look at it, you're going to see, I need to eat.
Right.
Because there's so many times, I'm sure you've been guilty of this,
Mm-hmm.
where you, in your head, it's like, oh, you know what? It's been all day. I haven't eaten yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you think of it, but then you get caught up with 15 other things that you need to do on your to-do list. And then
Mm-hmm.
5 hours goes by and you still haven't eaten yet. And, so it's really working together to find the spots that are open for them to be able to prioritize certain things.
Okay.
So, we look at their schedule and say, okay, you're working like for example, one of my clients today worked a short shift. So it was from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And
Mm-hmm.
so we said, okay, once you get home, you're going to get home at about 3:30, do a 15-minute workout. And that way you get it done and over with.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's your plan for the rest of the day. Once you get done, you're going to eat, you'll eat your meal, or if we need to get some quick protein, it'll be a protein shake. So I'm basically there guiding them throughout the day,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the first 12 weeks, because the first 12 weeks is really trying to create new habits
Mm-hmm.
and trying to implement those habits for the long term. So it's really a lot of communication and just being able to guide them and give them advice on how to do things, because again, they have a million things going on in their mind, and the last thing they're trying to think of is like, what's going to be the most strategic way for me to be able to eat my dinner, or
Right.
to drink my water, or to go for a workout.
Mm-hmm.
So really the biggest thing is, for what has allowed me to be successful
Mm-hmm.
with working with my physicians,
Mm-hmm.
is communication.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you use any special applications, or is just the like the old school texting and such?
I like to do texting.
Right.
I like to do
All
texting
right.
because it keeps it personal.
Right.
It keeps the I'm talking to you. You're not just my client. You're somebody
Mm-hmm.
that I care about,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really the biggest thing. I want my
Mm-hmm.
clients to know that I am there with you, in your corner,
Mm-hmm.
100%. Good times, bad times, we're gonna figure it out together.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use the special applications. There are some softwares that you can have it all bunched together, your communication, any
Mm-hmm.
documents you upload, which that's great, but really
It's not as personalized.
it's
Yeah.
not exactly, it's not as
Mm-hmm.
personalized when it comes to, especially just letting physicians know that, hey, I'm here and I care, and I
Right.
want, this is more than just about the 20-pound loss transformation, or the,
Mm-hmm.
your 4 sizes down on your pants. This is, you have changed and transformed your life, and I want to be a part of that journey.
Want real results that last? Stop wasting time on quick fixes. A no-fat approach to sustainable fitness, radiant health, and mental well-being is your roadmap to lasting transformation. Learn how to fuel your body, move with joy, and cultivate mental strength, all without the restrictive rules. Start your journey to sustainable success. Download your guide today.
Amazing. Amazing. So, what are the latest trends that you're noticing in terms of wellness and fitness that should be aware of?
So with the latest trends, the one thing that I've really noticed a lot is the biohacking world is starting to get really big.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that it's a positive trend. There's are some positives to it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's w- it gets away from the basic whole core and foundations of being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
There are, what I really love about the now with the trends that you're seeing, is that it's a whole mind body approach. It's
Mm-hmm.
no longer anymore of, you need to just be in the gym and eat broccoli and rice in order to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's you need to take care of your mindset. You need to manage your stress levels. You need to get
Right.
good sleep. You
Right.
need to exercise. So there's so many other facets of health and wellness that are
Mm-hmm.
now finally coming to light and are very important, because for so many years all of those things were suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep was almost, the less sleep you got,
Mm.
the bigger your badge of honor was.
Right.
Where
Right. Right.
now the trend is starting to shift the other way, that
Mm-hmm.
sleep is important. Sleep is just as crucial as your exercise and your eating, if not more important. And same thing for your stress levels, that you need to be able to manage your stress levels as best as you can, because that can affect your health. That you can exercise all you want, you can eat as healthy as you want, but if your stress levels are through the roof and your blood pressure is high and your heart rate is, you as high as if you just got done running 3 miles, then all of the other things are not gonna be beneficial. So I think one of the biggest trends that I love is now it's a whole mind body approach, which I think is extremely important if you want to truly be healthy.
Oh, this is amazing. How has this increment of the mental health, the whole mind and body approach affecting your approach to the fitness with the docs?
It's improved it. It's
Big
improved
time,
it
huh?
because it's now giving a greater purpose to what being healthy means.
Right.
So a lot of physicians don't have the time to devote to be
Mm-hmm.
6% body fat. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have, what the old fitness
Mm-hmm.
trend was of just, being 6% body fat. Now it comes down to being truly healthy
Mm-hmm.
and being able to take care of yourselves and increase your longevity, to increase the amount of time that you're going to be present for your kids, be able to give more to your community, give more to your physicians. So I'm so happy that there has been an increase in just mental health and mental health awareness,
Mm-hmm.
because especially for physicians,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it has been taught to suppress it, that you
Mm-hmm.
can't you have to instinctively be mentally strong, you have
Mm-hmm.
to have it all together. And now it's being able to say, hey, you know what, let's talk about this, like what's going on in your life, are things stressful? Okay, you're very stressed with this, now let's change our game plan up a little bit, because if we're having you do this but your stress levels are up here, that can be counterproductive to what we want, because now you're working too hard. Or the
Mm-hmm.
other way around, that they have a good handle on their stress. You know what? Let's ramp it
Mm-hmm.
up a little bit. You've been running 2 miles. You know what? Let's go up to three. Let's push it a little bit more. So I think the improvement of mental health and the conversations around it has been extremely beneficial with working with my physicians, because it now allows them to see the bigger picture of being healthy and not
Mm-hmm.
being intimidated by it. Because before
Right.
it was, I just got, being healthy means 6% body fat, where now it's no, like I need to take care of my mental health so then I could take care of my physical health.
That's amazing, my friend. So can you, I know you mentioned, in your bio about the evidence-based practices in your programs. Can you speak a little bit about that?
So really with the evidence-based practice is I make sure to do my due diligence. If
Mm-hmm.
there are, especially with my physicians, they are up to date with a lot of things. They hear
Mm-hmm.
certain things. So I make sure to do my due diligence in making sure that if they are, for example, I had a client, a physician asked me about carb cycling, and I go in and I make sure that, see if there's case studies, see if there is any real analytical data that shows benefits to things like that, because
Mm-hmm.
it can be very detrimental to your health. A lot of these trends, they're going based off of, maybe animal studies, or things that
Mm-hmm.
they've maybe just noticed. And so it's really making sure that whatever it is that I give them, if it is going to be something different against the norm and what has been proven to work in terms of especially nutrition, well-rounded
Mm-hmm.
nutrition, and not
Mm-hmm.
going too extreme one way or the other, is going to make sure that if I'm
Right.
going to implement something, I'm going to do my due diligence in making sure that there is evidence to back it up that it does work. And the great thing is I get to, because I work with physicians, I can cross-check with them and say, hey, this
Right.
is going on right now. A lot of my clients have been asking, this is the sources that I found. Are
Mm-hmm.
these credible, or what things do I need to look at in order for
Mm-hmm.
me to start looking to implement something new? So I really just make sure that there is some proof behind anything new that I try. If not,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not going to go into my nutrition programs, my workout programs, or just
Mm-hmm.
overall programs in general.
Right, right. So a lot of folks, they do struggle with the whole balancing, with the work, like you mentioned, and also trying to make sure that they stay healthy, and and then they also have their families and such. So how do you help them, like, create that balance for
So we look at each client individually. We look at their
Mhm,
schedule. We look at what they have going on. So this is where communication is very important. So
mhm,
I know the schedule for all of my clients. I know what's going on in their days. And so what we try and do is we try and look at the schedule and be able to find that balance in there, in saying, let's say for nutrition, for example,
mhm.
if they have to eat in the cafeteria lounge, where sometimes those foods aren't always the greatest,
Right.
but we have that conversation of, okay, if you're going to be in there, here's your choices that you can pick from that are going to create a well-rounded meal. So that way you're still able to stay on track, still be able to prioritize your health, but
Mm-hmm.
your day starting at 5 a.m. where you may not have time to meal prep like some others. So it's
Right.
really to create the balance is a more individualized approach in seeing
Mm-hmm.
what their day looks like and then making little tweaks to their days on how they can effectively incorporate certain health and wellness routines. But really the biggest thing, like you mentioned at the very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
simplicity. We make sure
Right.
things are very simple, making sure, and I
Mm-hmm.
always ask them, hey, why don't we try this? Do you think it'll work? Do you think it'll fit into
Mm-hmm.
your routine? And if they say
Yeah.
yes, perfect. We'll try it. We'll try it. We'll see how it goes. And then if we see
Mm-hmm.
that it's something that's a little too complicated, then we make a little tweak. We make our adjustment, and then we just continue to
Right.
keep going from there.
Amazing. Amazing. So, do you have any success stories, or just the testimonials so far
Oh,
of the
plenty,
thousands? Yeah.
plenty.
Yeah.
But with
Yeah.
speaking on physicians, one of my favorite success stories is like the client that I mentioned of really what
Mm-hmm.
got all of this started. So like I mentioned, she was a client of mine when I was working with general population first.
Right.
And her and her husband were trying to get pregnant. They weren't successful, and they figured let's try and take care of our health and see if that makes any changes
Mm-hmm.
into in the whole process of everything. So
Right.
she came to me, we worked on her health, and within like 6 months she got pregnant. She was able to have her first kid. So that was kind of the starting point of all of that. So it was a
Okay.
huge honor to just see her, and it wasn't just the getting healthy part, but it was the overall lifestyle change. She was in a better mood. Her energy levels were better, which made her more loving with her husband, of just, hey, let's go out for a walk. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go spend more time together. I have more energy. Let's go out on a date night. So, I believe just like what you mentioned, mindset along with the physical health really
Right.
plays a part into that. So
Mm-hmm.
she ended up getting pregnant with her first kid. Then fast forward to 4 years later, she ended up
Mm-hmm.
getting pregnant with her second kid during COVID. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like when I mentioned that after that second kid, COVID hit. She was very tired. She was dealing with postpartum depression. And so we started working together again. And
Mm-hmm.
at the time that we started, she was diagnosed as pre-diabetic. She was 60
Mm-hmm.
pounds over her pre-pregnancy weight. And within 9 months, we got her to lose the 60 pounds. Her fasting glucose levels were back down to normal ranges. She was
Mm-hmm.
actually lighter. She was the lightest weight that she was ever since high school. So she was better than what she was pre-pregnancy. And
Right.
um, and then not only that, but she was able to inspire a lot of her colleagues to really prioritize their health. And fast
Mm-hmm.
forward 4 years later, we're still working together. Health and wellness is a huge staple in her life now. She makes
Yeah.
sure that she doesn't get away from it. So that is one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite success stories when it comes to working with physicians is just the entire journey of being able to help her get
Mm-hmm.
healthy so she can,
Mm-hmm.
she can get pregnant, which we
Right.
accomplished. And
Mm-hmm.
then we were able to work through postpartum depression, through, pre-diabetes, and now getting her to be better than what she was even when she was in her 20s. So
Amazing.
so that's one of them. I have another client, a neonatologist, that
Mm-hmm.
she for 9 years she was dealing with a rheumatic condition. And when we started working together, we worked on just getting healthy, managing her sleep, managing her stress, making sure that her meals were well rounded,
Mm-hmm.
exercising, having some sort of exercise every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward to about 9 months after we started working together, she had her best doctor's appointment in 9 years. They decreased her medication that she was on.
Mm-hmm.
She's lost 30 pounds. Fast forward 2 years later, or 3 years later, I'm sorry, she's
Mm-hmm.
still working with me. And we're again just working on just being healthy and having health and wellness be a staple. So those are two very big uh, testimonials that I have from physicians that I work with, and
Mm-hmm.
then two clients that I have that were actually referrals from physicians that I work with. I've had great success stories with them. So one of
Mm-hmm.
them was when we started working together. He was 500 pounds, and we got him to get down to 350, so 150
Nice.
pounds lost.
Oh
He
man,
his
man.
blood pressure
Nice.
was
Good
was
job.
high. We got him to drop
Mm-hmm.
his blood pressure medication decreased. And it's really, we've changed his just overall lifestyle, things that are important to him, his sleep,
Right.
his stress. And now he's just continuing to keep going with life. He hasn't put on any of that weight back on. So
Hmm.
that's just amazing to see, to see that,
Yes.
that he's been able to fully transform his life. And then
Hmm.
there's one more success story of one of my clients, another referral from a physician. She was diagnosed as diabetic. Her
Hmm.
fasting glucose was through the roof. Like her doctor told
Hmm.
her, you're like a walking heart attack. Like there's any minute now, like who knows what could happen. So we
Hmm.
started working together, and through all of that, she was able to get her fasting glucose down to the normal ranges, her hemoglobin A1C down to the normal ranges. She was able to get off of metformin, which is almost unheard of once you become diabetic. It's almost
Hmm.
like once you become diabetic, you're on that medication for a long period of time. We were able to get her off of it, and she was able to lose 60 pounds. So there's a million testimonials that I have, and
Hmm.
it's really the lifestyle changes and the overall improvement in life. That's the part that makes me the happiest.
Beautiful, my friend. Thanks so much for all you do. This is good. You know how the old saying, prevention is better than cure and stuff. This is
Yes.
amazing. So for all the healthcare professionals that are listening, what are the three tips that you can give them that they can start implementing immediately to improve their well-being?
First thing, keep it simple. Keep it
Right,
simple.
right.
If you have a hard time, let's say in nutrition, for nutrition in general, of being healthy,
Hmm.
being able to make a swap from maybe an ultra processed meal to something a little bit cleaner. That's a great start. You're going to feel empowered with that. You're going to feel like you want to continue to keep seeking improvement when it comes to your nutrition. Keep things very, very simple when it comes to making changes with your food. A lot of times you see so many start to try and make a complete 180 in a day, and
Hmm.
they may do well for maybe the first 30 days, but then after
Hmm.
that, life starts to kick in, things start to come up, and they go back to their old eating ways. So really start small and continue to start building things up from there, and start
Hmm.
tweaking your meals as you go. But really, simplicity is the key. In all of
Hmm.
my clients that I've been able to work with and the success that we've been able to have, keep things very simple. Keep your meals clean, keep them well rounded. Don't try and do keto or fast for 15 hours if you're not used to fasting for 15 hours. If
Hmm.
you're usually eating 3 meals a day,
Hmm.
just make the switch to healthier choices on anything you can for those three
Okay.
meals. That's your perfect
Okay.
start. Then from
Hmm.
an exercise standpoint, for physicians, they don't have a lot of time to be able to work out. So one of the most beneficial things that I've been able to incorporate with my physicians is the importance of micro workouts. So
Hmm.
micro workouts can be anywhere from 1 to 3 to 5 exercises, and going for 10 to 15 reps, and just being able to do that continuously throughout the day. It doesn't take up a lot of time. You're going to be able to improve your blood pressure, improve your insulin levels. You're getting muscle activation, so it's going to
Hmm.
improve your posture, especially if you're sitting or standing
Hmm.
all day. If you're in procedures
Right.
all day where you're just kind of hunched in a certain position for hours on end, micro
Hmm.
workouts are extremely beneficial. It's a great way to be able to still exercise, but without taking up too much time of your day. And you're getting a lot of volume. If you think about it, let's use push-ups for example. If you
Hmm.
do a set of 10 push-ups and you do it 5 times a day, that you're at 50 reps. You're at 50
Right.
reps there, which is more than if you went into the gym and you did two sets of chest press for 10. That's 20
Hmm.
reps, whereas now you just accomplished 50 reps by the end of the day. So micro workouts are very beneficial if you don't have the time to exercise. And
Hmm.
the other thing is, when it comes to your sleep, put the phone away, before you go to bed.
Hmm.
That's really the biggest thing. Try and turn off the TV if you can, just start to give yourself some unwind time.
Hmm.
That's really the biggest changes that I've been able to make with my physicians, of just when you go to bed, try and put the phone away, go through your nighttime routine of brushing your teeth. If you're going to
Hmm.
take a shower, but try not to look at the phone, so that way you're able to relax and you're not receiving so much input from,
Right.
whether it's emails, whether it's newsletters, whether you're on social
Hmm.
media. You're not receiving that input, and then it gives you time for your brain to actually process all the thoughts that have happened throughout the day. So you're going to bed relaxed, and you're able to get a good night's rest.
Oh, amazing. Thanks so much for sharing that. And I know so far, like I had asked you about if you're using any special applications. So you're saying just, just old school testing, which is beautiful. We have that connection with people.
Mhm.
Is there any other techno, is there any other um, role that technology is playing in your work, in your daily work with that, with the healthcare folks?
Well, in terms of my company,
Mm-hmm.
technology is everything because one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I do, I know we haven't touched on this yet, but my program that I run with my physicians is I train with them virtually. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them don't have the time to be able to drive to, because if you think about the time it takes to drive to the gym, to work out, to grab your stuff, drive back, take a shower, move in, get ready for the next thing. That could be anywhere from a 2 to 3 hour process. So
Mm-hmm.
what I do is I work with my clients virtually where they can get up before the kids get up, work out for 45 minutes. As soon as they're done, they can walk downstairs, be able to, be with the kids. They don't have to worry about driving home, so it really is a time saver for them and still be able to work out and exercise and not have the excuse of, well, it takes too much time. I have to
Mm-hmm.
work out at this time or else I'm going to be late for work. Working out virtually and it's only beneficial for my physicians or high stress occupations. I work with a couple CFOs,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple entrepreneurs as well, where it becomes very beneficial. So technology is extremely important in what I do in my way of being able to effectively help my physicians and
Mm-hmm.
everybody else that I work with. But in terms of other things that I use, my basic form of communication is definitely text message, voice messaging, and things like that. But I still use, if we need to manage sleep, we'll use the Aura Ring. For exercise, we've used the Whoop. My
Mm-hmm.
Fitness Pal, being connected with that, so that way I
Mm-hmm.
can keep track of their meals. So technology is still very beneficial, but it's more on if needed basis. So depending
Mm-hmm.
on the certain client that I have and what's going to be more beneficial for them, then I'll prescribe something that may be a little bit more technology based, so we can keep track of more analytical data.
Amazing, amazing. So, what are your future plans with with your projects, my friend? Is there any new services or innovations that you're excited about?
Tired of fads and frustration? Build sustainable wellness for life. Forget quick fixes that fail to deliver lasting results. Imagine feeling energized, moving confidently, and radiating health for years. Achieving true wellness isn't about exhaustion or deprivation. It's about building habits that fit seamlessly into your life. Invest in yourself today for lasting fitness, radiant health, and mental well-being. Ready to transform your life? Click here to learn more. By purchasing the book, you'll gain lifetime access to updates, newsletters, future editions, and exclusive wellness bonuses from the author. Start your journey to wellness now.
Yeah, so one of the things is I am in development of a course. So being able to create a course that it's a full curriculum on just for physicians on how to be healthy. So that way it's all there for them. Being able to manage night shifts, being able to manage
Mm-hmm.
24s, what a well-rounded meal looks like, your
Mm-hmm.
exercise, what should exercise look like, and being able to create a whole course and curriculum for them to be able to just follow along, to have all the information there as needed. And
Mm-hmm.
that allows me to be able to reach and help more people later on down the line, to where if they can't, because I take on a limited amount of clients, because
Mm-hmm.
the amount of designated time that I give to them, I can only spread myself so thin. So this is my extension to be able to, it's all of the years that I've taken from working with professional athletes to regular clientele, and now with physicians, being able to take all of that years of experience and be able to put it together in a course that you can follow along with, and eventually hopefully be able to take that course into hospitals and put it into their wellness department, and be able to have their physicians follow along. And it's a tool and a resource for physicians to be able to follow along with, in their hospital. So it's not just they have to search for me. My goal is to be able to reach this out to as many physicians and hospitals as possible. So that's kind of the first thing in the works. And then the other thing that we're starting to work on is hopefully, physician wellness retreats, being able to go to a really nice destination, being able to disconnect from the real world for a little bit, and just be able to prioritize health, do things to where, we've all been guilty of this. We go on a vacation, maybe we consume a little bit too much, maybe we drink a
Right.
little bit too much, maybe we stay
Hmm.
out a little bit later, and we come back from that vacation feeling a little bit more run down, or like they always say, you need a vacation from your vacation.
Right, right.
And the goal with these retreats is going to be for physicians to come disconnect, be able
Hmm.
to prioritize their health, so
Hmm.
that way once it's done and over with, you're ready to go back and take on the real world and have even more energy, even more empowerment to just continue to keep providing the best service possible to anybody that you come in contact with.
My friend, this is amazing, and I look forward to seeing your course just being in all the hospitals. Why not? This is beautiful, my friend.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Hmm.
Right now, still the main focus is being able to work with my physicians one on one.
Hmm.
I enjoy working with them. Actually, for the first time this year, I'm opening up a couple spots to be able to take on new physicians or even just other regular clientele to, in
Hmm.
high stress occupations, to be able to help them personally, and really just empower them and get them living the best lives that they can possibly be. They give so much to their career, to their patients, to their
Hmm.
families, that they deserve to feel like the superhero that they really are and give to the rest of the world.
Amazing, my friend. And so, how do you envision, envision this field of integrative health and fitness so far in the next couple years?
I see it improving. I see it
Hmm.
improving. I see more conversations about total body health, total mind and body health. I think that is going to be the trend, that it's going to continue to keep going. I think now when you're going to be seeing gyms or people who talk a lot about health and wellness, it's not going to be now of just, you need to eat healthy,
Hmm.
you need to exercise. There's going to be much more conversations on the mental and the mindset aspect of it, of being able to, you need to take care of your mind just as
Hmm.
much, if not more, than taking care of your body, because that's your engine. If your
Hmm.
mindset isn't taken care of, then you're not going to be able to have the discipline to eat right, to exercise. If you're not managing your
Hmm.
stress levels, you're not going to be in a position to succeed. And when it comes to taking care of your health, because we all know
Right.
when your stress levels are through the roof, your
Hmm.
your decision making is much poorer. So, you
Right.
may be hungry. If you're stressed out, how many times have we done it where we reach for the most dopamine releasing food instead of maybe what's
Hmm.
the healthiest food? Reaching for the
Right.
cupcake instead of maybe getting some fruit or eating some
Right.
protein. Same thing with the lack of sleep. You're going to notice that the body is going to start to get more run down. Injuries
Hmm.
are going to start to take place.
Right.
You're not going to be able to perform the way that you want to perform. So I see integrative health really starting to be at the forefront of just a lot of conversations when it comes to taking care of yourself, and having
Yes.
the conversations in health and wellness, in mindset, in sleep recovery,
Hmm.
in stress management. I see,
Hmm.
that's going to be now the overall topic with health, rather than you need to exercise and you need to eat healthy, and those are the only two things.
Amazing, my friend. So, how can folks connect with you?
So right now you can connect with me through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my
Hmm.
main source of being posting testimonials, posting content,
Hmm.
as being able to share new things that are going on. LinkedIn is my main source. You can also email me as well, at
Hmm.
dquintero@limitlesshealth.com. So if you have any questions, or you have
Hmm.
questions about programs, you can either send
Hmm.
me a message on LinkedIn, or you can send me an email, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Fantastic. And also, we had spoken a little bit about fatherhood, and I know you're not a dad yet, but you're working on like towards it. Can you like share a little bit what what is fatherhood means to you, and maybe talk like a little bit about your dad
Yeah,
and his influence?
fatherhood is everything.
Hmm.
A lot of my clients, I would say 95% of my clients are all parents. They're
Right.
fathers as well, and fatherhood is just, it gives you an example of just what it means to be strong, being able to be selfless. I have an amazing relationship with my father. I have the most amazing dad that I've learned so much from. He puts the family first. He has given me so much valuable advice. But one of the other things as well is he practices what he preaches. I can't tell you how many times, for me personally, that whenever I'm in a tough situation, I think back more of, what did my dad do in this situation? He did this, he did that. Yes, there's a few things that I remember, certain little gems that maybe my dad dropped, but it's really
Hmm.
just what I saw with my dad on the day to day. And that's, off air, you and I were talking that, as I've gotten older, I'm becoming more and more like my dad as the years go on.
Right.
And, I mean, I love that because I look up to my dad so much. He has been an amazing role model. He's been there. He never missed when I was growing up. He never missed a sports game. He, would always we grew up, we were very fortunate. We were able to go to a lot of Dodger games. My dad, I still remember he got season tickets to the Dodgers when I was 8 years old. And our very first game there, he was like, I got these tickets. So when the Dodgers make it to the World Series, you and I are going to be there. And fast forward 20 years later, my dad and I were there at the World Series, sitting in our same seats,
Amazing.
going through the
Wow.
same, we used to go and get some food, take it to the stadium. We did the
Mhm.
same thing, and that's a memory that I'm going to be able to cherish forever. We got to go see this man so many times.
Oh man,
We were there
amazing.
for, my dad and I were together for his last game. We were there
Right.
when he actually dropped 56 against Jordan. He got me that
Oh man.
a Christmas present. So
Right.
I have so many memories with my dad that, now going into me, hopefully getting into fatherhood sometime
Mhm.
soon, that I want to
Mhm.
replicate with my kids of being able to just, it's not about the materialistic things that
Mhm.
I can provide for my family. Yes, I want to
Mhm.
be able to provide a good life for them, but it's the memories
Mhm.
that of me always being there, me being there when they're having a tough time, that when they're
Right.
scared, that they, just being able to give them, being able to give them a hug, and just
Mhm.
and even if we're not saying anything, that's something that
Mhm.
my dad did for myself. And I have two sisters. I have an older sister and a younger sister, and he did it with all of us. And so it's the
Amazing.
memories that I cherish the most with my dad. And now it's been great because he got to give me so many memories that now that
Mhm.
I'm older, I get to return the favor and um, take him to sporting events. One of my favorite memories is when he's an Oakland Raiders fan. So
Okay. Okay.
when they moved to Vegas, it was
Mhm.
their first year. I got him for Father's Day. I got him tickets to go to the first game in the new stadium. We went to Vegas, got him a suite, got to be able to just enjoy the whole experience because all the time it's been him taking care of the family. He never
Right.
got anything for himself. So to be able to
Mhm.
do that and return the favor and to have him experience something so amazing and let me give to him was one of the most amazing things. So, my dad is just he's truly a superhero in my eyes.
Amazing. My friend, thank you so much for doing this. I understand docs, they will, some docs, they will feel like, wait a second, what is, like coach going to, help me with? But for sure, yes, you might know like maybe about lifestyle, medicine, all the pillars, but are you actually doing them? So I think, having a coach is something very important. So definitely reach out to my friend David Quintero, and he's going to be helpful to you. Just being there as a friend, as a coach, like you need that person that helps you along. So this is good. Thanks so much for joining us today. And is there anything else, my friend, that you would like to share with us, or like am I missing anything, or please,
No, you nailed
before
you
we end.
nailed you nailed everything, and I love the point that you made at the very end. One thing for me is health and wellness is very important in my life. There's a
Hmm.
lot of things I've gone through it as well, where when I was working with my in-person clients, I was working from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., seeing 20 to 25 clients a day.
Hmm.
Very, very little breaks. I would get home at 10 p.m., eat dinner, go to sleep at midnight, wake up at 3:30, do it all over again, get to,
Right.
get to work at 5 o'clock. And so I've been there. It's not just me telling you what to do because this is what the data says, or this is what the research says, or this is what
Hmm.
people are recommending you to do. I
Right.
have also had to implement it in my life and figure out how to be able to stay as active as I can be, make sure that I have the energy levels to be able to
Hmm.
provide to my clients and go as above and beyond as I possibly need to see them succeed. So it
Hmm.
really, I take passion in all of this, for myself, so that way I can give to the physicians that I work with, so that way
Amazing.
they can have all the best tools to be able to succeed in life and to be at their best. So I definitely take what I do very seriously, and I take all of those practices that I recommend to my physicians. I implement them in my life as well to make sure that they work. And it's not just, here's what the book says and,
Right.
or here's what the research says. Apply it and we'll kind of see if it works. I
Mm.
want to make sure that I have some sort of feedback that I can say, here's what I've tried. This was my experience with it,
Mhm.
and let's see if you get the same experience with it as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm with you and I support your movement. Like, like as I mentioned to you as we were speaking before this live, I appreciate you. And, I actually share the same story. I'm trying to be more vocal because a lot of times, for instance, I can share with you so that folks can relate to this. In my one of my old talks, I was talking with one of a good friend, and I had asked him, "What do you take for your, like what do you take? By the way, do you take any supplements? Like I did not mention the whole story behind that,
Hmm. Hmm.
because like sometimes we assume that folks understand, know what we're talking about. So
Yes.
that's not good, especially when you're in the public place like this. So I think my question to him was more like, are you taking anything for your joints? Because me being
Hmm.
a runner before, I used to have trouble with the joint,
Yes.
with my knees, but I took something that helped me. So, I meant to ask him, what are you taking?
Hmm.
I don't think he understood me. And from there on, I need to kind of be more complete. I need to talk more. I
Hmm.
need to explain more what I'm talking about. So I like what you're doing. I like the simplicity because I started, for instance, with the lifestyle medicine. I covered all the three things that our folks are working on, like you mentioned before, in terms of the sleep, in terms of the exercise and the dieting, and I'm seeing a tremendous difference. And I cannot tell you about the other pillars because I look forward to really explore more of those and see how they affect me in my life.
Yes.
And through that, I went ahead and started actually a small little book. I wrote a book about a no-fat approach to
Yes.
sustainable health. You know, you know, and like a no-fat approach, because a lot of times we just hearing all this complicated stuff. But
Hmm.
I want to keep things simple. So I wrote a book called A No-Fat Approach to Sustainable Fitness.
I love
You
that.
know, Radiant Health, and then also the mental,
The
the mental,
mental.
my friend.
This is the
Oh
most
yes.
this is the most important.
You.
And if you're not mentally there or mentally locked in, I tell my clients all the
Hmm.
time, just being locked in, understanding your
Hmm.
purpose. What is your
Right.
purpose in all of this? Because the 40 pounds lost, the 6% body fat, the running, being able to run, those are all
Mm.
very short. Those that motivation is gonna be very short lived. But it's up
Right.
here, being able to
Right.
understand, hey, I'm running faster. I'm running faster. Why is that? Oh, because I'm
Mm.
taking care of this. So if I apply, my sleep
Mm.
to not only fitness but into my career, what is that going to do into my career, and being able to just shot put that into something different.
Mm.
It's
My
all
friend.
it all starts up here.
So my friend, thanks so much. I'm happy I connected with you. We share so much, and please keep doing what you're doing. And folks will definitely find you. And I look forward to reconnecting with you once we have a baby and all those good stuff. Why not,
Absolutely.
my friend?
Absolutely. Yes. Put it into the universe. I'm hoping.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
hoping.
All right,
Well,
my friend.
thank you
You
so
take
much,
care, my
so
friend.
much, Solomon. For anybody who was listening in,
Mhm.
I will run a little bit of a special. Like I said, I opened up a couple spots. So if anybody's
Please.
interested in my coaching program, they can send me a message or send me an email, and I'll let them
Hmm.
know about the special that I will have going on for any of your listeners. A little bit of a discount, so that way,
Right.
they can join in and they can start optimizing their health, their mental motivation and everything, so that way they can be the best that they can possibly be.
Amazing. I was checking also if there's any there just questions. I don't see any questions at this time, but in the future we'll have a good program where we can see questions from different,
Yes,
medias, whatever. But so far, if they have any questions, please go ahead and write them. Anyways, David is around, and he can be, responding to those questions for you.
absolutely, absolutely.
Amazing. Amazing. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep puzzling. I know. Don't forget, what do you call it? You know, don't put your health in the back burner. You have to prioritize your health and wellness. So
Yes,
thank you so much for tuning in, my friend.
fantastic. Solomon, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, boss. Thank you.